Hey everybody, can D5 render match the quality of Corona? Well, that's what this episode's all about today. So I was browsing the ArchViz subreddit, like I typically do, and I came across this post, a brand new user trying out D5 coming from Corona. And they're basically sharing their Corona renderings and their D5 renderings. Again, this is their first time using D5 render, so I'm not going to be super harsh on them. And really, I'm making this video just to help the user out, as well as just to show the community that I do think D5 render can render just as well as Corona, but we do need to put in effort to get there. And I really think with the post AI functionality, we can actually get there much quicker than it would take us with 3ds Max and Corona, but that's what this video is all about. So they were nice enough to share the 3D files with me. So what I want to do is actually hop into D5, show you my process as to how I would make this render, our D5 render here, look just as good as this one. So before I dive in, let's actually just look at the renderings. So I think one of the disadvantages in this comparison is you can definitely see that the D5 render is actually missing a lot of the same details that we see in Corona. The big thing is, our textures right here, that's missing. The grass doesn't look that great. We're missing some interior parallax. You can kind of see that there's a living room here. So we're missing that. Missing like all like the grunge that you see right here and here. So that's all missing. And you can also see that the materials kind of look really flat, either flat or like super shiny. Like look at this. You can kind of see the glossiness. I'll zoom in. You see the glossiness and it just looks a little bizarre for like a wood. HDRI is kind of missing. This looks a little bland and it looks a little overexposed. And I think we're missing a door here. We see it here. We'll check the 3D model. Geometry is a little different here. But anyways, you get the point. Let's get in there. Let's add some materials, add some lights, and make it look beautiful. And then, we'll see if it's just as good as Corona. I think we could do it, okay? But before I hop in, one thing I wanted to point out, fun little thing. Next Friday, or this Friday, depending on when I upload this, I'm doing a workshop with D5 Render. So that's super exciting. 1 hour, we're going to do the Farnsworth house. So if you're getting, used to D5 render and you want to learn from me, we're going to do that. It's going to be a fun interactive thing. So anyways, into D5. I'm opening up this file for the first time. So let's get familiar with what's going on here. Okay. We got a lot of flicker going on, right? Wow. Okay. So we'll fix this. We can also see that we've got some grass poking out here. So we'll fix that. That door I was talking about. Oh yeah, it's just like super shiny. All right, let's check our materials. Okay, we've got some texture maps here. Okay, how's this? We're missing texture maps. Okay, that explains the flatness. Same thing here. Okay, how about this guy? Same thing here. Okay, so we were kind of right that we're missing a bunch of maps, and that's actually one of the reasons why it doesn't look as great. So this is gonna be a fun one. So let's start with the materials. All right, so we've got this texture here. You can see that it's tiling, looks low res. So let's use something from the asset library. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna search for stone, and let's find. We could do something like this, the dark cultural stone. We could then, go with one of these guys. Let's go with this guy. Okay. The scaling looks off, so let's lower this. But you can see the beauty is like it actually has displacement. So this is the big thing. We can actually like mimic the depth properly. So I'm going to change the stretch. Oops. Let's go with 1. Let's take a look at that. So already this looks much better. Am I a big fan of this pattern? Maybe not. Let's go with this one or one of these. If I wanted, I could grab a texture map online and just like search for a cultured stone. I actually like this one. Let's go with this. We'll shrink it down a bit. That's way too small. Let's do like 0.8. And I want to fix that. So let's do a little bit of that. And then I'm just going to offset up and down. Shrink this just a bit. 5. Okay. And I'm going to move this. Okay. So I'm going to do that. That way we get a nice whole brick. And I'm going to move this a little bit to the left. That way we've got a corner brick. Okay. I think it's a little like too brown. So what we could do is just desaturate this a bit. Okay. As you can see, looks much better than before. Might even raise it a bit just so this matches that. So that doesn't look too bad. Do a little bit of that. Okay, brighten it a bit. Yeah, exactly. Just so it matches some of these tones. All right, that looks better. All right, let's talk about this metal. So this metal had like no metallic properties. I know that because metal is 0. 1 means it's metallic, right? So let's go over here. Let's go to metal, and we want something that's got like a dark color. Probably like, yeah, we could do black matte metal. Watch this. It's gonna be a huge difference. Yep, there we go. And I'm just gonna make this triplanar. That way we got nice uniform scaling. Yeah, there we go. I can darken it a bit by just cranking this. Already looks much better. And as always, you should have your round corner on, especially for the metals because they're bending them, right? That looks better. Okay. Now up here, this wood. Yeah, this wood, it's got like no properties. So I can just go and AIify it with this. That way I get the maps. Or I could just grab like a wood plank from here. I'm gonna grab this guy, put that there. But I'd probably scale it down. Let's go. That looks better. All right. Now the glass, I can tell the glass is like way too shiny because I literally can't see anything behind it. And that's probably because there's nothing in here. Yep. It's all black and dark. So that explains it. So let's go to glass, clear that out. Let's look for normal glass. I'll put that there. Yeah. And then we can actually see the curtains, which I didn't even know were there before because it was so bright. If I have an interior parallax in there, I'll probably start playing with the opacity and the specular, just so I can see all that. So let's leave that there for now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely put something here. Yeah, because that just looks wrong. So let's go over to model. Let's get that parallax in there, and we want residential. And this is like a small thing. I'm just gonna drop this guy in there. That way we get something, because this looks silly with the wall there. Okay. So now we're faking a little room here. Again, I don't have the floor plans of the space. I've got no idea what this room's supposed to be. I'm using V to switch my gizmo, and let's just get right behind the glass. There we go. And I'm just going to lower the lighting so it's not as bright. And the intensity, just so you could see that there's some geometry there. Yeah, that looks great. So now let's add some more up here. Grab this guy. Okay, so we're really just trying to brighten up this whole scene because it looks like super dark and not too realistic. So again, V to scale. See how I'm a little shy on the sides? Break your sizer and then just scale that way and then tuck it in with V. Okay, get behind the curtains, that's fine. Lower our brightness and our intensity. Okay, cool. If I had this 3ds Max file, I'd actually probably hide the curtains here and drop in the actual D5 curtains. And the reason I say that is these can actually like be animated and they're high res and they look gorgeous, but I don't have it, right? So no big deal there. Let me just move this there and I'll just tuck it down a little bit more. So I want to do the same thing over there. So a little pro tip, if you hold down shift and drag down in the axes, you're going to make a copy, but obviously I don't want the same room, right? So just go here, hit this little replace from assets button. I'll hit confirm. I'm not sure what happened there. And now I'm just going to find a parallax to replace it with. So let's go with this guy and you'll see it swap. Once it's done downloading, whoop, there we go. Great. And then I'll do a shift click. Okay, same procedure. Let's replace and let me grab something like this. Okay. Scale down. Perfect. All right. So you can see already better. I'm probably going to lower the intensity on all these. So I'm just going to go 5 and 0.4. There you go. And just a little before and after, let me add these on a layer. Let's call these parallax. Now watch this. Well, it would help if I put them on the parallax layer, right? And we turn it off. There you go. Big difference, right? And if you think it's like too bright, just lower the intensity. That's not an issue. But yeah, that looks so much better than having nothing before. So much better. All right, I don't think I did the one up here. So let's grab a copy. I'll grab this one over there, hit V, shift clicking, and I'll put it right behind the curtains. Again, really hard to see because it's so dark in here. I could use the auto exposure, but I don't know, just not feeling it. So let's replace this. Let's grab this guy. It's a little bit longer, which is kind of good because it fills that gap right there. Yeah, in case I was doing like any head-on shots. Okay, just want to make sure it's touching the ceiling. And again, lower this guy, lower that. Perfect. So now all of our rooms are filled with something, right? So now that we've got that, all in parallax, great. So let's go back to our materials. This plaster, let's say it just looks like white to me. Yeah, this has got no properties, so that's not good. So let's go over to material. And for this, you could go, if you search for plaster, you'll get something like this, or you can go for paint, and you'll get these kind of fun ones. Like if I grab this kind of looks like a stucco. Watch this, I'll paint this. It's gonna give me some texture here. As you can see, there we go. Kind of looks like it's weathered too, which is nice. That's a huge pro. But I want to just whiten this out, right? Good, great. It looks so much better. Yeah, just like compare the difference, right? So that looks great. The sunlight's also super bright. You see how it's literally burning this? That's not great. So we'll fix that as well. And let me just desaturate the texture. That way I'm not getting these yellow. And I'll just increase the brightness. That way it's white. And let's do UV randomizer. Just break up that texture. And increase the scale a bit, just so we're not seeing the samey variations. But I'm also conscious of the actual normal scale. So a little pro tip here. If you don't know this, you see how my normal map is like so big and it looks out of scale? There's this concept of individual UVs. So watch this. I can actually break my UV off to be its own independent guy. So look at this. So now my typical diffuse map stays the same, but now I have it living on a different stretch scale. So that's one way to kind of combat that. So now I can get those smaller dots without worrying about the overall size. So that looks good. We can also add some decals to add some weathering and everything. All right, so then let's look at the reference photo. The concrete should be much darker. Yeah, much darker. And I realize that it's also missing vegetation here, and we gotta get the wood in there. Yeah, let's fix this. All right, so concrete. D5's got so many different concretes. So let's do that. Concrete wall, that kind of looks good. Kind of like the rough concrete too. Concrete ground. I want something with character. Yeah, let's go with this. But grab that. Okay, you can see the color's way too light, right? So we're gonna darken this guy. Over here, darken. Okay, and it's probably somewhere around there. Let's add triplanar, UV randomizer, around corner. This is my typical process. I'm always hitting those. And let's play with the stretch. Yeah, that looks great. All right, already looking so much better. Let's see. Our metals. This was not changed. All right, let's copy this guy. Grab my metal here, and let's place it everywhere else. Good. So that's all on the same material. Let's fix this wood. You can see I'm basically like finding anything I think doesn't look right. And you can see that the sheen is completely off on this. It looks like there's no map. Yeah, you see how it's like all uniform? So that's the issue there. And again, you could upscale the texture here, but I'd rather just use the D5 library because I know it's already calibrated. So we want like a fine wood kind of thing. And the nice thing here is they did UV it. So we've got an upper grain and a side grain. So you know what? Let me show you how to upscale this. So let's go here. We'll make it Ultra HD. And the reason I say this is I don't have access to the original model. So what I would do is I'd have a material channel going horizontal and another material channel going vertical. And I would basically duplicate and then rotate. But here, since it's already UV'd from 3ds Max, I can just upscale it and I don't have to worry about that. Because again, I don't have access to the model, so I gotta work with what I got. So I've got that there. That looks good. Let's hit AI and also turn on round corner. That way we got a nice bevel there. And then we should get some maps in here, and that's really going to help break up this texture here. So while that's thinking, okay, well, it's already done. And you can see the sheen is so much better, right? Yeah, that looks 100 times better. I'll lower the roughness because I want a little bit of a sheen. Okay. And I'm going to increase the normal a bit. Perfect. Yeah, that looks so much better than before. Okay, great. All right, let's check out the lights over here. What is this? Is this metal? Okay, looks like it is. I'm gonna copy my metal and paste it here. And it looks like we've got an emissive light here. That's good. Good. Okay, so emissive lights will contribute a little bit to the final scenes like GI and everything, but it's just like not powerful enough. So in general, you should add some like spotlights here. That way it's powerful enough. You can see like I'm cranking up to 100. It's really not going to do much. So that's fine there. Temperature, just gonna make it like really warm looking. And I'm just gonna grab some lights. So we'll grab some spotlights. Gonna make a new layer. Let's call this lights. And I'm gonna drop this there. Okay, attenuation radius is good, but the width or the angle is not. So now I'm actually lighting that up. Okay, great. So I'm getting a splash there. That's fine. Maybe we lower it. Again, we don't need it to be too bright. And I'll just crank this up to 8,000. Now I'm gonna shift click. You can see I'm getting some nice light there as well. Okay, great. I'm gonna hit control and just so I've got all of them selected. And let me just play with the intensity. Just a bit more. That might be okay. We'll add some warmth there. All right, so what I'm gonna do is copy this guy over here. That way, yeah, it lights this up a bit. I'll place this there and shift over here. All right, cool. So that's lit. That's not super dark and scary. Let me save this real quick. Okay, cool. I can grab the same light and drop it right down here. So I'm holding control to add to the group. And I'm just gonna move it down. Nice. If I think that's too bright, all I have to do is just lower this. And there we go. So now here we've got some planking. I don't like this planking. Like this looks like wood, like finished wood floors. You wouldn't have that outside. You would probably have like more of what we put up here there, because this is like an actual decking material. So watch it. Oh no. Let's undo that. Yeah, that looks much better. Yeah, that's great. And let me turn on round corner. I think I might change the scale here. It's okay. Probably just desaturate it just so it looks a little bit lighter. And then in general, your floor planks are always going to get a little bit worn just from being outside and weathered all the time. So we've got that. That looks great. Okay, cool. I'm still not in love with the stone. I'm still thinking about what to do with that. I'll probably go back to that. But let's see. Our curtains here. Let's see. I mean, that's fine. We don't need to worry too much about that. Let's fix this grass. This grass is driving me nuts. I'm just going to switch this to a landscape material, and I'll show you why. I want to scatter my grass here because the problem is, you see how the grass is coming through? I can't control or prevent it from doing that, and I don't have access to the model, so I can't actually cut this out. So I'm going to put a landscape material, and I'll show you what I mean. So let me just search for grass. And I'm just going to grab something simple like this. Yeah, there's some crazy Z flickering going on here. Yeah, this is crazy looking. So let me change the scale here. All right. So I'll do that for now. Once we put grass, this will make sense. So now let's add grass, right? So now I'm going to go over to scatter. I'm going to hit select material, and I'm going to click this guy, and I'm going to hit create. And what's going to happen is it's going to start spawning in all the spots I don't want it to spawn. So I'll show you what I'll do. So watch this. I'm going to grab something kind of tall just to kind of show you the issue here. So watch this. If I click this, you're going to see it spawn everywhere. That's not great, right? So if you didn't know this, there's actually color regions in D5. So if you click this and then click a mesh you don't want anything to spawn in. So like, I don't want it to come in my little pond fountain thing here, right? I can add that and then hit create, and it will exclude it. So the idea is I want to have all these regions excluded and then spawn in grass. So now I'm going to go here and I'm going to swap this with grass. So let's go get some grass. I go nature, let's go grass. And I just start grabbing a bunch of these. And I want variety. Let me just make sure I hit add assets. Okay. All right. And you'll see that it's not doing anything interesting and it's doing it all in a line. That's because my distribution is set to be this flat thing. It's flat white plane. Let's add some noise. And now let's increase the density. Let me add a 0. Okay. And you can see this is filling out so much nicer. Still needs a little bit more. Let's go to 8,000. Increase the cluster size. Yeah, that's fine. This is basically gonna control like how much of the same asset spawns in like the same region. Fine with that. Let's do 10,000. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I'm gonna hide that just so I can see. So you can see this is already looking much better, but it's not filled the whole way. So I'm going to lower the offset a bit. That way they spawn a little bit closer to each other. Okay, and then I'm also going to increase the probability and lower the collision volume. So that way there's more opportunity for things to spawn closer to them. All right, and let's increase the density. I'll add a 2 here. So this guy looks a little too big. I can literally click it and then just lower the scaling here to 73. Yeah, that way it's more uniform. All right, so now let's just choose a different distribution pattern just so they're a little closer to each other. Try this guy. Nope. We want a little bit more white. Yeah, let's try this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and I'm going to boost the density some more just so we can get these areas filled in. And let me try lowering this. Yeah, this is better. So now we've got like high zones, low zones, and everything. Let me lower this guy some more scale-wise. And their probability. Okay, let's lower this guy as well. Okay, cool. So we've got nice uniformity there. All right, let's fix this water here. So let's go over to assets. Let's go to material and let's look for water. We'll go with blue pool water. Let's drop that there. Okay, you can see the scale is insane right now. So I'm just going to lower our stretch. And I'm going to fix this stretch just so it's a little bit more uniform. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. But doesn't look great. I'm going to add a little bit of depth to kind of hide that green grass under it. And the velocity is way too much, so let's lower that. And I'm just going to desaturate this a bit. It's a little bit better. I think what I'll do to cover this insanity, I'm just going to drop in a model plane. Watch this. Basic model, let's grab a plane. And I'm literally just going to grab the tile that we have on the wall here. Fly in here. And I'm going to duplicate it and place it here and then shrink it. That way I'm getting some of the blue of the tile under here and it's not fighting with that weird plane, that invisible plane. Okay, so I've got this. Let me break the scale to V. And let's stretch this way. And let's go down just a little bit. Yeah, look how much better that is. And now I'll just fix the texture scale of this guy. Okay, so that's going to help there. It's got an individual UV. So that's why I wasn't changing before. So let's change this to 5. There we go. So much better. So now it looks like an actual pond. So now, some final things I'll probably add are some decals, the plantings here, and then this should be good to go. Let's go to, model, decal, and there was some grunge here in the reference photo. So I'm going to go here. You can see all over here, there's a little bit of grunge in there. So we'll do that. I'm noticing here that these windows are kind of a lighter color, so I can actually change this to be chrome. That's not an issue. So let me do that real quick so I don't forget. And I'm going to increase the brightness here. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. All right, so now let's add those decals. Yeah, so I can literally grab this guy, go over here, and you can see it coming through there. And I'm just scaling it up. And in general, always lower your opacity because it's way too dark by default. Yeah, I could just copy this and scale it just so they don't look identical. I hit V, copy, there you go. Just gotta pull it out a bit. Perfect. All right, let's look at the reference photo one more time. I could probably go lighter on the concrete. So that's why it's good to have this reference. So all I have to do is lower base color. Yeah, somewhere around there. Okay. And I could also add some more grunge here, right in front. So really depending on how much time you have, you can actually go pretty crazy with this. So it's adding it on the railing, which we don't want. Let's do that. And lower opacity. Yeah, maybe like 0.2. All right, great. All right, cool. So we've got that. Let's talk about the plants up here. Yeah, we got some like low flowers, bushes there. And then there's a nice little flower here and some bushes there as well. Yeah, we can get that in. So for this, what I would usually do is probably like scatter it, but because I don't have a plane here, I can actually just grab a basic plane, put that there, and then scatter on top. So I'll grab a plane. I'm just doing that just because I'm going to get nice density. And we'll scale this down. And the other benefit is scatter is non-destructive. So if I change my mind about the species, it's pretty easy to change density and location and everything. So I'm doing it inset because typically you would have like some sort of parapet, which is like raised around this. It wouldn't be completely flat like this. So anyways, so I'm going to go to select model because I just want it on this plane. I'm going to hit create. And we could go with a preset, like one of these guys. Like if I just wanted this, it would spawn all that, which is pretty nice. So that looks really cool. If I want like some pops of color, I could actually just replace one of these with a flower. So if I were to go to model, nature, flower, I could grab one of these. And then that will go away. Let me try another one. Okay, they also have a low spawn rate, so it's very possible we're not going to see them. Let me try lowering some of the other ones. Yeah, there we go. So this guy is huge now, right? So all we got to do is click it and lower the scaling. Perfect. Yeah, just so we get a little bit of color there. Yeah, that looks great. In the reference photo, there was like a nice pink plant there, so we can get that. Let's go find like a flowering shrub. Let's go with this guy. It's hydrangea. Okay, I'm going to place this here. Once we are like in camera mode, I'll position this. And then there were some bushes here. So I'm going to go over and create a path right here. I'm going to click I'll look for a boxwood. Yeah, something like this. Grab this guy. And I'll go here to here. They're a little big. So let me try. They're also called buxus. Yeah, here we go. Could try one of these guys. This guy's better. Grab this. And this will replace that. So I'm going to grab him. And let's delete him. Yeah, that looks great. Let's add some variety. So I'm going to click here for variety. And now we're going to have two mixed in. There we go. So I'm going to move this over. Got my plane, my path here. Let's increase the number to 8. Random direction, random spacing, random offset, and random size. Just to give you some variety there. So now let's go and check out the default camera scene and see what that was about and how this will come out. So let's go here. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to go pilot my camera settings. We're on 2 point. Okay, cool. So we've piloted this. Let's hit depth of field. Let's focus on the building. I'll click this, blur this. That way the hydrangea is blurred out. It's good. Probably leave it at like 6.5. Focal length is fine. Let me switch this to 16:9 and then pull the camera out a bit. And because I moved the camera, you always want to make sure you reset your depth of field distance Yeah, that way that changes. Okay, great. So now let's talk about the sun here. Not a big fan of this HDRI. I feel like it's like too washed out and there's not enough interest going on here between the sunlight and the actual HDRI. So let me see, maybe I can get it. Yeah, this is much better actually. I felt like it was like too white. That's good. Let's lower the skylight a bit. Background, that's about fine. It's got a little bit of warmth here. Okay, skylight intensity, that's fine. Sun disk radius, let's boost this a little bit so it's slightly softer. And now with our sun, let's try and get something so it's coming in on an angle. Let's do something like, there's a couple interesting things going on here. It's like we've got the pergola lighting up here. We've got this lighting up. I don't mind that. Let's lower the sun just a bit. Yeah, I want this to be lit, but I want that also to be lit. Check mark caustic so we get some nice caustics in there. This could work. Let's look at the image. Yeah, if he was trying to match that. Yeah, his lighting's a little bit softer, so I'm going to boost the sun disk radius. And let's go with 0.8. Let's see our effects here. What do we got? Exposure is at -0.02. Make it probably 0, just to be a little bit brighter. I think the contrast is way too heavy. Highlight, maybe around there. Shadow, yeah, let's crank that down a bit. White balance, I'm tweaking a little bit. Bloom looks fine. Okay. These stains might be a little too much. It's funny because before they weren't showing and now they're showing too much. And what I'll probably do is just copy these up. So again, shift and then click. All right, cool. Overall, this looks good. I wish I could fix this, but again, I don't have access to the model, so I can't mix up the UVs here. That's fine. I'd probably add some decals here and here, and just to kind of break up this big chunk of a surface. Backdrop looks fine. All right, cool. So let's do that real quick. I'll probably increase the exposure just a little bit. Oops. Yeah, I feel like this is getting there. Okay, cool. So let's add those decals and then we'll do a test render and we'll see what we got. So let's go to assets, go to decals. And now for damaged walls, we're gonna want something kind of big, something like this. That way I can plop this here, scale it up really big. Okay, and then just lower the opacity. Yeah, you see how it's breaking out. Okay, I'm gonna do shift and then let's rotate. We just want slight discoloration there. We don't want too much. I'm gonna do the same thing on this inner balcony wall. Okay, I can't see it, so I'm increasing the opacity. Perfect. I'll lower that a bit. Probably do the same thing here. I can't see it, so I increase that. Yeah, perfect. And we lower this. So it helps break up that texture there. And we'll do the same thing on the other side, and we'll rotate 90 degrees. You can see I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just like copying, arraying, and all that. All right, cool. And let's put one more here. Same situation. Let's see what this looks like. What is it hanging on to? Yep. Let's go there. Lower the opacity. And then come forward a bit. Okay, perfect. I could probably also do the same thing on this wood as a way to help break up the texture. Yeah, so look at the difference. So let's do a little bit of that. And then let me scale it a bit. Yeah, it's gonna help. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be better than nothing, right? So I've got this here. That looks good. I'm trying to keep the same perspective as before. For up to me, I'd probably like show a little bit more sky, but I'm okay with this. Like if I were to do 29, yeah, the problem is we don't have anything there, so that's where we're hiding in here. That's fine. All right, let's do a test render. And let's see what we got. Parallax all looks good. So let's go. Render mode, let's hit 2K. I don't need channels right now. And let's render. All right, cool. So we got that rendering out. Let's run it through Post AI. So I'm gonna click here. I mean, by default, I feel like it it looks really nice. I feel like just like the textures alone, it's a huge difference. What I would probably do going back, I'd probably fix like the metal scaling here, and I'd probably bring it to Photoshop to make the sky a little bit punchier. But anyways, I think this is like in a really good spot. So I'm gonna enhance it. Let's try a weight of 0.7 just to see, and then I'll do a weight of 0.5. All right, now let's do a weight of 0.5. This is our raw output. So I think overall it looks pretty good. I feel like our textures are a lot better than the starting point, right? I would definitely probably go back and revisit this area with like the metals and just like the stains and everything. It's probably a little bit too extreme, but that's not so bad. I'd probably also revisit this material, you know, see if I could find something a little bit nicer. I think the reflections could probably go a little bit brighter, but I feel like in general, we're nearly there. Maybe add some fog in the background. But this looks good. I like that this is glowing a bit. Yeah, so let's look at this one. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we completely transformed it, right? So let me copy this. Let me paste it here. So I roughly overlaid them, right? If I turn off all the markups, this is after and this is before. I feel like we made a big difference, right? Yeah, I feel like the ground's got so much more variety. The materials are just so much better. It's much brighter here, right? That's green. I feel like the shadows are much more interesting because we're getting the slats picked up here. And it's not as overexposed. So now, let's look at this. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about with the sky. Yeah, I would probably spend some time and make it a little bit punchier. Let's see, our colors, probably a little bit darker, but I feel like the texture is much more defined. This, or scaling, you know, is wrong because I don't have access to the file. Make that bigger, make this a little bit bluer. I feel like this is probably a little too vibrant in terms of like color punch, right? Like this looks way too blue. Same with this. This definitely is more desaturated. So let's revisit this and tweak some of these things. But I feel like in general, it looks pretty close. Like I wouldn't be upset with this rendering, right? Like, I mean, we only spent what, less than an hour on this. If we spent more time, yeah, for sure. But I feel like from where we were, this is a huge upgrade. But yeah, I feel like it looks just as good. I just want to tweak it a little bit more. All right, cool. Before, after. Yeah, I mean, this looks phenomenal. That looks so good. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, especially the clouds. So it's fixing what I was talking about with like the punchiness. Yeah, love that. And this is the other version. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, the metal, it's adding like too much. But that's awesome. Probably desaturate this a bit. So that's great. Yeah, the texture looks amazing. Yeah, that's great. All right, let's do some final tweaks. I think this is gonna look better than Corona. All right, so what did I say we'll do? Let's add a tree. Let's fix this region a bit. And I want to tweak my material here. And then I'll see if I can find another material here. And then even the glass, I could tweak a bit. Okay, so I'm here. Let me add a tree just to match the other ones. Oh, these are 3S Max trees. Okay, all right, let's grab our own then. Nature, let's grab a flowering tree, something tall. You know, if that's not gonna work, let's grab a broadleaf. Yeah, I like this guy. This might be too chunky. Let's see. Delete this guy. Delete this guy. I click this and let me pin my camera just so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, that's cool. All right, I like that. What I'm probably gonna do, because this is driving me nuts with the wood, I'm gonna put another tree there to help break this up. Yeah. Okay, and I'll rotate it just a little bit. Perfect. All right, now let's go over here. And I said my stains were a little too much, so let's move this forward and lower the opacity because I don't even see them here. Hit P. I do not see this. It might be too high. Yeah. Yep, exactly. Okay. All right, so I said it was too extreme, so let's go 0.11. I'll do the same thing here. I can already see in the picture-in-picture view the difference. Okay, great. All right, and let's fix the metal. So the metal was like a little too loud in terms of like all the discoloration there, and that's partly coming from our normal map, our roughness map, which you can kind of see here. So let's play with the stretch a bit. I don't want it to be too small, but let's get some randomizer in there. That way it doesn't look so samey. It's too big. Let's show one again. And this is one of the issues of the UV randomizer. It does create these like little hexes. So you see what I did there? So we might have to turn that off. It's a little too apparent. Let's do 0.5. Trying to get the scale just right. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Perfect. All right. These stains are a little still too much. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on the look you're going for, right? Yeah, these guys I can't really do much because like if I were to do triplanar, it's not going to do anything because it's using a mapping. If I do the randomizer, it doesn't really do much either. And that's because of this individual UV, right? So if I were to change the stretch, it's not going to be aligned anymore. It's not going to look good. So watch this. If I were to go here and I do 0.5, see that? It's like all kind of distorted. So that's not great. So I'll leave it back at 1. So some other things that I would do to probably just like make this look a little bit better as a rendering, I'd probably add more of these like bush things, like in the background and everything. Could you add them there? Yeah, maybe, probably. Helps break up some of the uniformity of this, because I feel like this is just like a slab of wood or decking. So let me boost this to 10. I lied. Let's do 15. I'll do 12 here. Yeah, just add more interest there. Okay, and I said I want the water to be a little bit more punchy. So I'm going to increase this. Okay, great. All right, let's look at our reference photo. Okay, yeah, I feel like we're there. Let's just play with the glass real quick. The specularity, I'm probably going to boost to like 0.3. And then I'm going to add a slight tinge of cyan, just a slight. It's got to be so subtle. That's fine. And then with the curtains, what we could also do is just make them a little opaque, a little translucent. I mean, yeah, these are hard to hit. I'm going to click this guy. Yeah, fabric linen. Let me switch this to a cloth. Okay, so we got control of opacity. So that's what this guy is. So I'd probably make this like 0.8. Yeah, that way we're getting some of the background. That's fine. Yeah, maybe we go a little bit thinner. Yeah, let's try that. That's totally cool. All right, awesome. We've got that. And now let me check mark. Let me get fog in here. Let's see. Maybe just a little bit. Just a little bit. Let me increase this. We're going to go to fog. Okay, we already have some. That's good. Okay, cool with that. Yeah, and I like how this is looking now. And I like the tree coming through here. Could it come through a little bit more? Maybe. But I think this is fine. All right, let's do some final tweaks. Let's increase the caustics and let's play a little bit with the sun. Yeah. Just a little bit. Yeah, and what I'm trying to do is get some more visual interest from the tree coming out through here and getting some light here. Okay. Well, you could do a little tip to help brighten these areas up. Not that they're like too dark, but what you could do is you could just grab a rect light and just point up. It has to be so subtle though. It's like super subtle. So let me go -180, right? And I'm not saying you have to do this, but like, I don't know, if you ever have like a really dark spot, this is an easy trick. And I would just scale it this way. And you can see it's already making a huge difference. So I do this, point up, okay? And then I would make this so subtle. So I do that. And just to show you from down here, look at the difference, right? So that's why I bring that up. So you could do that. Again, I'd keep this like so low and just to see, yeah, before and after. So I'm kind of like okay with that. And I'm going to do it over there in here as well, just so that's not so dark. This space kind of doesn't make sense to me, but I'm not the architect here. All right, we'll do that. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Let's see. That looks good. Okay, cool. And then how about this guy? Roughness is 0. That should be, no, because you've got the map. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's controlling the sheen and everything. Probably increase the the normal a bit. This is looking better. Yeah, I'm just doing like a final pass here. I think overall this is pretty good. I still don't love this material, but it is what it is at this point. What you could do for some more like interest in the reflections, you could probably grab some more trees. I know you've got this backdrop here, but if you want, you could just like do this. That way you get a nice cool shadow there. Rotate this guy and you get some more reflections there. Okay, I'm gonna lower this a bit. I'm curious how this looks with the shadow there. Let me see if I can move this here. I keep forgetting to pin the camera. Let's pin that. And I want to see if this tree can give us some cool, all the way in the low bottom. Yeah, I think that's good. So we'll add some interest. We're basically making it shaded. That way, like the interest is here and it's not just like on the grass, because that's not so interesting. All right, final environment settings. Let's see. The background, go around there. The skylight will also help with these dark regions. Like, look, if you do that, you see how it's dark. If I increase this, it's going to help brighten up all those areas. I think I'm okay with that. I'll leave that right around there. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this. Cool. So now I'm going to just save. Love the shadow that we're getting there. I wish I could get some shadow here as well, but that would involve like putting a plant here, and then I feel like that's too crazy. I'd probably move this tree a little bit closer. It's not too much of a big deal. Yeah, that looks close. Looks cool. And then I had let me get out of here. I had another tree over here that I wanted to come a little bit closer, just so I get more shadow and interest there. Let's check this out. Yeah, you see that? So let me pin this. And it's tough to see if it's occluding with it. Yeah, it is. To rotate this a bit. Much better. Okay, great. And then what we'll do is let's add a little bit of vignette under effects. Okay, just a little bit. And a little bit of ambient occlusion to help add some darkness in here. So basically you increase the radius, and that is how much ambient occlusion is being added. When you add this checkbox, it's going to add it onto your rendering, which is really nice. So we've got that. Just gonna make this an even 500. Okay, happy with this. I'm gonna save again. Okay, this is great. Let's hit render. Let's do 2K. Okay, this is a new render that came out. I think this is great. Some things I might like do minor tweaks on, but I think overall this is great. So let me run this through Post AI real quick, and I'm gonna do it light. I'll do like a 0.5. And then I'll show you what I would do in Photoshop real quick. This is before, or that was our before, and then this is our version 2. The metal being fixed was a huge difference. Same thing with like the reflections here. And just like the composition, like I like the trees and the bushes here, really helps frame everything. You know, shame about the wood here, but there's only so much I can do, right? And then just looking at the original, I don't know, curious what you guys think. I like the D5 version more. And it didn't really take us that much time. Again, it was like an hour of our time to refine all the materials and everything, but that's what you would be doing anyways for a project. So curious what everyone thinks. I'm a big fan of it. I'm really excited to see the post AI version. And then once we bring that into Photoshop, I think it exceeds the Corona image. It'll be a little controversial, and we'll see what people say in the comments, but I think, I don't know, I feel like for a real-time render engine and an hour's worth of work, improving a file to get those kinds of results and rendering in less than like 2 minutes, that's pretty impressive. So let's download this guy. I'm gonna bring this into Photoshop. Yeah, I mean, I think this looks gorgeous. Literally all I would do is I would duplicate this guy, bring it into camera raw filter, do some final touches, especially for like the sky. I want it to be a little bit punchier just to match the original. And what I would do is go down here to adaptive sky, and I'd probably grab one of these guys. Now let's see. So another thing I would probably do if I had the model, I would actually add some coping here. So coping is basically like this material right around here, and I would match this just so you have a proper cap to the this volume here. I think it looks a little weird without it. I mean, I've had a lot of issues with this area, but I feel like that would be a nice little bit of detail. And you could kind of cheat and just like paint that in Photoshop. I don't know why this thing's not. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So here we go. So we've got blue drama. Yeah, I would do something like this, and you're probably like, oh my God, that's too much. Well, you've got this slider. So I'd literally do something maybe like 60%. Yeah. And that's literally just to match kind of the same intensity as the previous look. So there we go. So this is the final rendering. Let me copy this and show you this side by side. So this is Corona. Let me scale it up. Okay. Before, after, let me move it a little bit that way. Yeah, I just feel like the materials are so much better, so much sharper. I know the photo's a little bit blurry, but still you can tell. And go to the original Reddit posting, you'll see what I mean. Yeah, like I feel like the reflections look just as good. The color is there. The vegetation looks much better. Yeah, I think this is awesome. Yeah, really curious what you guys think. Did D5 match Corona or exceed it? My opinion, it did. Really curious to hear what you say. Drop that in the comment. Overall, had a lot of fun doing this one. If you ever have a project you want me to review and improve, send the files my way. Happy to do this again.